Hello and welcome to the Monday, October 12th, Lake County School Board regular school board meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Matthias.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome again for joining us. Do we have any changes, amendments, additions, or deletions to the agenda board?
Chairman Burns, we have an HR addendum that was added to item 9.01 today, and the board should have a copy, as well as a revised HR personnel transaction list that was also added today to item 9.01.
All right. Very good. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Oh, I thought Mr. Gamble wanted to pull something.
No, we're good.
I couldn't see him before. All right, then we will move on to approval of the minutes. Ms. Weisskopf? Dr. Weisskopf?
I recommend approval of the minutes from the regular school board meeting September 14th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Nope. Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on to representation. We have recognition of Jerome Scott for his exemplary performance as the school safety guardian at Leesburg High, presented by Mr. Carr.
We have Mr. Carr, the Assistant Superintendent for Operations and Facilities, and Mark Palmer, Manager of Safety and Security Services, tonight to highlight our recognition.
Thank you. Yes, for this special recognition, I would like to ask Mark Palmer, as already said, Manager of School Safety. We have a special guest I would like to also have come up as Ms. Tracy Sanford, Program Specialist 4 with Florida Department of Education. And likewise, I'd like to ask Co-Chair Mr. Matthias, and because Mr. Matthias and I, we share something in common with the recipient, we were also classmates. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Major Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Chairman Burns, school board members, thank you for this opportunity. And I would be remiss for not thanking a few people, so bear with me for a couple of minutes, please. I know that this program got started a few years ago prior to my arrival at the school board, but people like the school board itself for having the courage and the vision to champion this program, you specifically, Mr. Matthias, thank you very much for that. To our superintendent, who's not here, but again, I want to thank her for her continued support of what we do in the safety and security department. And in her leadership team, Dr. Weisskopf, Mr. Ward, Mr. Farnsworth, you guys are exceptional, and thank you very much. Last and certainly not least in the executive leadership is Mr. Carr, who is my immediate boss. Thank you for your continued support of what we do in our program, and you make keeping our children safe a little easier, so thank you. And Ms. Sampson, thank you for being here when we recognize Mr. Scott for his heroic day in Leesburg. Also, I'd like to recognize who they're not here, but our city police departments, who we partnership with every day, who continue to help make our kids and faculty safe at all of our schools. Second, also Lake County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Grinnell, for what he and his team have done continually for our students and faculty at our schools. Lieutenant Meisinger and her staff, thank you very much. Even though you're not here, we really appreciate all that you do. Last and certainly not least, what will lead us up to Mr. Scott's recognition is the Sheriff's Training Unit, who have the task of training the safe school officers, guardians, to be prepared for this type of event. Sheriff Grinnell, thank you very much, and your staff did an exceptional job, and I know you will continue to do that. So without further ado, I'd like to recognize Mr. Scott. Jerome, please come up here. A few more seconds. On August 27th, 9:30 a.m. or so, on the west side of the school, Mr. Scott observed an individual on the west side in the interior of the fence line. He approached the subject noticing that he was not a student, Mr. Scott had the courage to challenge him, which he's supposed to do, and he did. He noted what he believed to be a weapon in the waistband of the subject. The subject went to reach for the firearm. Mr. Scott, without even drawing his weapon, took a positive stance and a ready stance, did not draw his weapon, but was able to control the individual with verbal commands. Again, it attributes back to the training that Sheriff Grinnell and his staff provided. He then summons help from the local school resource officers to Leesburg Police Department. SROs responded immediately. Subsequent to the search, they found a loaded firearm in the individual's waistband. They found extra ammunition as well as drug paraphernalia and narcotics on the individual. And last, he was a convicted felon. None of us know what his intent was that day. We'll never know. But we do know what the intent of Mr. Scott was. That is to protect the faculty and staff of our students. So thank you very much for your heroic day. And we have a little bit of recognition for you here. Congratulations, Jerome Scott. Recognition of outstanding job performance for exceptional actions above and beyond the call in service to our students this October 12, 2020. Assistant Superintendent John Carr. Oh,
Victor time.
and a challenge coin that we have,
Sure.
if I can open it. That's yours, and I don't know if it can get you any coffee or anything, but please keep it as a token of our appreciation and a little gift card. And one more thing I'd like to recognize, I forgot to, is Mr. Mabry, Mr. Hakey, and his staff making what I do and the rest of us in the Safety and Security Department much easier. So again, Jerome, thank you on behalf of all of us at Safety and Security. Job well done. Thank you. And Ms. Randolph, thank you for being here. Ms. Sampson, you want to say a few words?
Major, I will just
Wrong.
second what you have said, that Lake County is really doing an excellent job with safety and security. I work very intimately with Mr. Mabry, Mr. Hankey, and Major Plummer, and sometimes I get the pleasure of working with John Carr. You guys are really blazing the trail, especially when it comes to the blended model and that redundant security. And those of us from the Office of Safety Schools, we truly appreciate it. We live every day with the memory of the 17 children that were murdered. We work with their parents closely. So all of these efforts by people like Mr. Scott are truly, truly felt and appreciated by our office. Thank you for everything you're allowing them to do.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would like to make a comment, and Mr. Carr alluded to it, that I was in the Guardian School with Mr. Scott and with Mr. Carr and 19 other amazing individuals that every day are not recognized, but they're there protecting the campuses of all of our kids. I made a point to go over to see Mr. Scott as an alumni the day after the event, and I said, "Were you scared?" And he said, "Yeah." And that speaks to that moment where you put your own safety aside for the benefit and safety of our kids. And God bless you, and God bless all the guardians that are out there protecting our kids every day. Oh, thank you. The room goes wild, by the way.
Can't hold the ovation, can you?
Next.
You're muted, Chair.
You're muted, Chairman.
Excuse me. Thank you. I just wanted to point out the fact that he not only was able to leap into action, but he was able to leap into action and resolve the situation peacefully, and that is such a wonderful thing, especially on a school campus. So thank you for being there. Thank you for being ready for our kids, and thank you for being ready to put yourself extra in the line to pause that moment and make sure that the situation was resolved calmly, and that's huge too. So thank you for that as well. We are going to recognize the Golden School Award winners now. with Dr. Weisskopf.
Yeah, I think Mr. Farnsworth has a video that we put together to recognize these schools. I don't know. Probably not, looks like I did not. You may have to.
I'm glad that caption that on the left corner's there.
You just have to share the sound with us, I think, is all that's missing.
Mr. Farnsworth, I think if you go to audio settings,
Can you restart it?
Yeah, we may have a redo on this one. We have IT rushing back to the transmission center.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, exactly.
no kidding. I think you did. It's a super secret sound. Super secret. I can't. Okay, that's what
I assume Sherry's working on it? We're good?
Actually, Alex is.
Alex went back just a few minutes ago. We should have a redo here in just a sec.
Okay. I probably could tell the whole Hungry Caterpillar story for you if you want. Read that book so many times.
By the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf.
Out of the leaf comes a little and very hungry caterpillar. Ah, I like the popsicle one. Then he gets
Somebody
a
had too much
totally
coffee.
egg.
Here we go.
At Lake County Schools, family and community engagement are a priority to us. Each year, our schools design programs and activities that not only keep our students involved, but that encourage their families and the surrounding communities to participate and invest further in their education. This school term, 22 of our Lake County schools have received the Florida Department of Education's Golden Schools Award for developing exemplary programs that promote parent and community involvement. We would like to take this time to recognize each school and their principal. Thank you all for your hard work in engaging the communities we serve. We're proud of you.
And the crowd goes wild.
Fabulous. Love it. I also love the that we can do this remotely. I really appreciate that we can still do this. We can't cram 20 principals, 40 principals, but it's nice that we can still recognize our school.
Sure.
All right, public input. We have 2 virtual public inputs. Dr. Weisskopf, did you let them in the? Are you? Who's in charge?
We have Miss Cronin and we have Mr. Clapp. So we'll let Mr.
Okay.
Clapp in first.
Perfect. You might let Miss Cronin in while you let him in.
Is it usually?
Sometimes she takes a bit.
Okay. Yeah, it says joining, so I'll try and let both of them in and see who can get in here. There's Mr. Clapp.
Is he, I can't,
Yes, he's there.
all right, Mr. Klatt, can you hear us?
Mr. Klatt, your 3 minutes has started. You have 27 seconds.
All right.
There he is.
Go ahead, Mr. Klatt, when you have your sound ready. Go ahead with your 3 minutes.
Stuart,
Mr.
you're on.
Klatt, can you hear us?
But we
No,
can't hear him.
we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Are you muted?
We totally can't hear you.
He's not showing muted.
No,
Is there,
Stuart, you're
Something
like
going on
legit.
in the
We can't hear you. There you go. Wait a minute. Say something else. Nope, not working. This is just
Okay.
like my mom's 93rd birthday party. I'm just telling y'all.
so all of
Um,
our routines got all messed up, I have to say. Our superintendent is on a very well-deserved break for a day.
Now he's
Oh.
muted.
Okay, now you, try it now, Stuart.
You might have to switch the microphone.
Stuart, you're
Oh,
muted
I
now.
see a mute now. Now I see a
Unmute
mute.
now.
It's probably good. Microphone.
Okay, try.
Speak.
Okay, say something.
It's,
There we go. Stuart, talk.
I know what I'm on.
Oh, yeah, that's
The
amazing.
card, the memorandum of understanding for the use of money passed overwhelmingly. Teachers are very glad, and hopefully we'll see some money in their pocket. I am.
I'm not sure what we should do to help.
It's on his end, so.
network connection.
His
Do we have
network,
Sam?
it's really lagging.
I can fix a lot of stuff.
Okay.
All
It's-
right, I'm yet.
Yeah, that's perfect. Keep talking.
Video.
His internet is not good.
No. It's your,
No.
Stuart, I think it's your connection.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
don't know what's going on.
There you go. Get now. Keep going.
we
Because that
can
was
hear you
perfect.
now. Just maybe keep your camera off.
Yeah.
That will help.
Go ahead, Stuart. Oh,
Hello?
If you can hear
Yes,
us, turn your
if-
camera off.
is he speaking?
From you all. And your audio is coming in echo. So I'm on my camera on.
All right, this isn't working. Do we have Kim?
I'm gonna take, him out and see, Stuart, if you can hear us, log
I
back
don't know
in.
what's going on, so.
I'm letting Kim in.
Okay.
Restart his computer.
Maybe, are you able to work on him in the background?
Alex suggested you restart your computer, Stuart.
All right, Kim, if you
No,
can
it's
hear
okay.
us, unmute, and let's try and let you talk. Stuart, try and restart your computer.
Go ahead, Kim. This is amazing.
Kim, can you talk?
All right, I'm getting choppy audio and froze video from your feed.
Yeah. Alex suggested you restart your computer. It's at your end, not ours.
I feel like we might
Can
be
you hear
getting a
me?
little bit of what teachers are feeling. Yes,
Yes, Kim.
we can hear you, Kim. Please go ahead.
Alrighty. Well, thank you. Good evening, board members. We understand that the 2020-21 school year, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Is a very uncertain year due to the COVID. Although our classified pay scale hasn't been increased since 2014-15, with the exception of pay grade 3, index 0, which is our lowest pay. That pay index has been upgraded the last 2 years because of the minimum wage going up. The CCP pay scale, our computer professionals haven't seen an increase in their pay scale since the 15-16 school year, although the cost of living has increased every year. In the 2017-18 school year, employees received no raise. In 2018-19, the employees received a step raise, something they expect to happen annually. In the 19-20 school year, employees received a $600 bonus. Today, they're looking at maybe receiving a 2% increase. So this means in the last 4 years, employees have moved one pay step. So employees that have been hired since 2015 or earlier have lost 3 years of experience pay. Many of them are seeing new employees, new hires coming in making more money than they are, because they haven't moved, but people are coming in with the experience. If you take a custodian today that was hired in 2015, he's making $9.78. If that custodian had received all of his steps, this year they would be at $11 an hour. But they're still at $9.78. With the 2% increase, they're gonna go up to $9.98. This is embarrassing. And employees are not happy. And again, I'm not saying it's this year, okay? But we can't continue to do a budget and not include pay increases. These are your employees, and you need to figure out a way to pay them. Pay them a living wage with a decent yearly increase. The minimum wage that's on the ballot right now passes. You've got 280 employees that do not make $10 an hour. Then for next year, there will be over 1,650 employees that don't make $15 an hour. So we need to look at something. We need to get something in the budget. We can't just spend all the money and throw the crumbs our way. So I hope we do something to look into the future so we can correct this mishap, because you're losing employees daily. I have never seen so many open positions for classified workers ever, and it's not just because of COVID. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Chad, if you're able to get Mr. Clapp back, would you please let me know?
Yes, I texted him to try and log back in, but I haven't seen him come up yet, so I'll let you guys know if he does sometime during the meeting.
All right, thank you.
The other option, could we perhaps get him on speakerphone maybe?
Beyond that, yeah.
Dr. Weisskopf, do you have his number?
Let me check.
I've got it. I might need a little bit of
I
tech
do
help
have
here.
it.
Do you have it? Okay.
I do have it, yes. Let me see if I can call him.
All right, that'd be great.
Yeah, we can just put him on the microphone, right?
Yeah,
Unless you guys want to see him.
I thought you said unless you guys want to sing.
See him.
Hey Stuart, this is Emily. I was wondering, because we couldn't get you back in the Zoom meeting, if you wanted to just speak to the phone and I could put you on the microphone. Can do that. Is that okay? I'm gonna turn my microphone on now and then it'll start you up, okay? What now? I turned on my microphone, so go ahead.
Thank you for your indulgence, school board and Madam Chairperson. I just want to let you know that the
That's what they told me to apply.
I lost him.
Does Stuart live in the function?
Like we really tried here.
Okay, we just lost our landline connection.
That would be reliable.
All right.
Try telegraph.
We're gonna try. Yeah, we're gonna try telegraph.
Morse code.
Okay.
Huh.
Are we moving on?
I think we
Are you-
should maybe move on.
Yeah,
Because
that
if
was my-
not, this looks like it could be a marathon.
Okay. All right, let's move on to, sorry, we did our reports. We're ready for our
We have-
business.
We do have a report. We have the Ed Foundation.
Oh, very good. Yes, thank you. Hello, Miss Carmen Columbat. Please speak whenever you're ready. Hopefully.
Unmute.
Oh, make sure you unmute.
Chairman, school board, thank you. The Applemart stores have had 187 teachers through so far, and we've distributed $14,025 worth of supplies. We've received a $1,500 grant from the Mount Dora Trust for our HCT reading program. We received $3,000 from the Harper Family Trust for our high school high-tech program. We had reached out to Mount Dora about the need for desk shields, and they came back and said, no, what we really need is picnic tables. And I recalled that Leesburg High School built picnic tables. And so Leesburg High School agreed to discount picnic tables to $280 each for Mount Dora High School. And so I was able to find 5 sponsors that would agree to pay the $280 for the tables. And then Leesburg finally agreed not to put their logo on Dora's table. And we were able to put the sponsor logos on these tables. And they include Red Apples Media, Van Ganaway, the Seabrook Family Trust, Laser Art Guild, or Artesian Laser Guild, excuse me. And so those are going to be delivered tomorrow, I believe, to Mount Dora, without the Leesburg logo. The CFE grant that we've extended out to the classrooms is due October the 16th, and that is allocated to spend $58,000 for literacy, CTE, STEM high school graduation rates, and we are meeting with the Visionary Committee on November 9th to look through those grants and hope to award off $58,000 of that. A nice surprise this week, we received $10,000 from the Marion Shuck Trust for our aviation club at Umatilla High School. And as you recall, we found a $31,000 grant to start that program about 2 years ago. And these kids are building an airplane.
Yeah.
And when you look at the airplane that these kids are doing, it is just phenomenal. And I hope John Carr is not in the room. So we've got another $10,000 to do the second section of that plane. Teacher of the Year, Duke Energy will again, for the about the 20th year, be the presenting sponsor. And Wharton Smith Construction and Ernie Morris both sent in $5,000 to be sponsors this week. Jenkins Auto Group is going to be giving away a car again. And with the restrictions still on facilities, we are planning a hybrid model. The event will be on January 28th. And the three finalists, their guests, their administrators, school board, and sponsors will be invited to the event. And then we are attempting to do a two-way live broadcast down to the Lennons from 45 other locations, so that our other nominees will feel included in the room and special. And tomorrow, the applications, because all of our 48 Teacher of the Year nominees have been named, and the applications will be going out so they can submit those in the first round, and judging will start. Yesterday, from last year, we had 31 cases of mead left from the Renaissance Fair that we could not legally sell. And we did a mead giveaway at site yesterday. And the amazing thing is we've always bought in about $2.5 million a year to the economic impact in Lake County. Yesterday, we had 106 people from outside of Lake County, as far away as Tampa, drive to get a bottle of mead for free at our site, and we were able to promote our virtual Ren Fair, which will be happening November 6th and 7th. November 6th is Education Day, and we have already had 82 teachers sign up. And November 7th will be a regular fair day with an adult afternoon. And so I have to thank our IT department with Dwayne and Jane. They've just been incredible working with our volunteers to help integrate platforms where we can bring 1,000 people into each platform to view this event. Take Stock in Children received $3,200 to supplement the salary deficit from the state, from the Community Foundation of South Lake. And we also received $8,400 from Suncoast Credit Union for scholarship purchases. And their advisory council meets on October the 15th. Our Finance Committee meets on Thursday to recommend approval and acceptance of the governmental audit, certified audit, which is due to the school board by January of each year. And then our exec board meets on October 26th, and our full board meets on October 28th. Are there any questions?
No, thank you.
Chairman, may I say something? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I just wanted to tell Carmen and the Education Foundation, thank you. I know that you guys have been a advocate and supporter of the Aviation Club at Umatilla High School, and that this year, I think the focus is really going to be on picking it up as an aviation academy at Eustis High School. And I am going to credit that to you and your Ed Foundation's just ability to help us kickstart it off the ground and to see the potential of the program. And I would invite any of you board members, if you have not been out there to see that airplane, it is incredible to see what students are doing. It's just incredible. So I appreciate you so much. I appreciate Mrs. Bent. I just wanted to make sure you know that I just am very thankful for you.
Well, and we also need to put in a plug for the city manager of Umatilla.
Yes.
Scott Blankenship. He has gone above and beyond to ensure the success of this program.
Yep, and continues to this day to advocate for it. So super thankful for him as well. Excited about things to come.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, and, we do have an attorney report now.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Moving on to new business consent agenda. Dr. Weisgall.
I recommend approval of the consent agenda items, 8.01 through 10.04.
So moved.
First and a second? Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No? Motion passes. All right, going on to the discussion. Tentative approval of policy for electronic media for technology for meetings. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am. The matter before the board is tentative approval of new policy 0165.6, use of electronic media technology for meetings. I don't believe there's anyone in this room to speak to this matter. Mr. Farnsworth, is there anyone online wanting to speak to this policy?
No, sir, there is not.
Just as a reminder of what was done differently from the emergency policy that you had passed recently, this one will be a permanent policy. We added the item number 4 under board member participation, which specifically speaks to a pandemic or other declared state of emergency as one of the circumstances where this policy could be followed. On the second page, we made the policy applicable to board committees. There is a change on this policy from the emergency policy to the extent that up to 2 hours before a scheduled board or workshop to provide and have accepted a request to speak. And the rest of it's pretty much like the policy for the emergency policy, and the same issues exist, and we will be, and I can't give you any time or date when it might be available, but be requesting a opinion from the Attorney General on doing this so that there's no potential liability in the future. That's all I have, Madam Chair, or Madam Superintendent Pro Tem.
Okay. Do we need a recommendation then, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I recommend tentative approval of policy 0165.6, the use of electronic media technology for meetings.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait a minute, Mark had a
Excuse me,
question.
I'm sorry.
I got one question, and I might recommend we strike one word. In page 2, this specifically says we're going to use the Zoom web application. I'm not sure, it's hard to predict in how Zoom will always be the district's choice of web application. So I'd like to just strike the word Zoom and just say web application.
I think that's a good idea.
Great idea.
Okay, do we need, how do we back up? Did we vote?
We just
And that was part of the discussion, and you had agreed to change it before you voted, I believe.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Do we need a new recommendation?
I don't think so. I think that we can change
Okay.
the word Zoom to
All right, so, so we have a first and a second. We've agreed to the change. Now, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to the superintendent's report.
Yeah,
Are
so
you giving? Yeah.
I am giving an update. Yes. October is National Principals Month, so I just wanted to say thank you to all of our school leaders and for all the work that they do, and especially in this year of unprecedented times. They are certainly working diligently, and I couldn't be more proud of the leaders who serve in our schools. So I wanted to say thank you, and just remember them all through October as we celebrate them. Also, I want to also thank Mr. Farnsworth and his committee and the LCA for how they've worked so well together to reach an agreement on a $7 million plan that will increase teacher salaries. We know that our teachers deserve more, but I'm glad that we're able to do this at this point with the funding we've received from the state. So again, thank you to all of those teams. I also want to remind staff and our board members that One Blood will be here on Friday, October 16th, hosting a blood drive from 9 a.m. to 2. They're asking that you schedule an appointment, so please check your email for the link. Your donation could save a life. And last, we're offering free flu shots to employees over covered by the district's insurance plan. So those are administered on sites across the district starting this week. The benefits department sent information out about that, so please check your email for details. And with all that's going on this time of the year, we encourage everyone to consider getting a flu shot for your health and protection. And finally, we have a couple of letters of condolences. Dennis Wilson, retired teacher at Tavares High. Aline Coate, grandmother of Lane Obando, principal of Pine Ridge Elementary. Pete Henderson, the husband of Kathy Henderson, the teacher at Umatilla High School. And Chuck Wright, the husband of Jennifer Wright, the cafeteria manager at Carver Middle School. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, board member comments. Let's start virtually. Let's do Mr. Dodd.
All right, well, thank you. I'll kick this off. And so I was kind of flashing back to the Golden School Awards that were awarded at the beginning of the meeting and looking at the criteria for that. And it seems to be that there, according to the DOE website, just 3 elements. 80% of the school staff are trained in school volunteerism, that the school has a designated volunteer coordinator, and that the number of volunteer service hours exceeds or equals the number of students enrolled. I guess I was surprised to see. Well, maybe I'm not necessarily so surprised, but the majority of our elementary schools earned that award. From what I saw, I didn't see any middle schools there, and only 3 of our high schools. And I recognize, I guess, that maybe there are some challenges in thinking about how to get parents involved at those later years in our kids' schooling. I know I've been to the STEM and STEAM bowls over time, and I've seen, the room just so packed with the elementary parents, and then you go on middle school day, and there's like 3 people there, and so I guess there's maybe something that happens just in the mindset of parents as their kids get older, thinking that maybe they're gonna, I don't necessarily be more hands-off with their kids or just less involved in school. But I guess this is even more challenging given all the COVID circumstances where it's tough to get, where we can't really have volunteers coming in and out of school. So I'm not really sure what that looks like this year. But I guess I want to just mention the importance of having involvement in children's education and having that connection between parents and teachers and students. That I know that teachers love to have support from their parents, and so I'm not sure what we can do as a district to promote and try to encourage more of that, especially at the secondary type level. But just an observation that I'd love to see us try to think creatively on and see how we can move the needle there, so to speak.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Mrs. Luke?
I wanted to just say thank you again to Mr. Scott. It was hard virtually not being there to tell him, that the narrative could have been distinctly different, and we just appreciate the courage that he displayed and the proof of the program and all of the work that's been put into it. And Mark did a wonderful job of recognizing the district's involvement and initiative of this protocol. So I also wanted to, again, thank the Education Foundation for their support of the Aviation Academy. So that's it.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Gamble.
Yes, in the names that Dr. Weisskopf mentioned as far as condolences, the 3 of them I attended, and the one I conducted, and that was Dennis Wilson. He was my baseball coach my sophomore year of high school, and I went to school with his kids. His wife was my 6th grade teacher, and then she retired as the guidance counselor from Tavares Elementary. But some of the things that we learned from Coach Wilson was that he wanted you to excel in whatever you did and do it to the best of your ability. Some of the other things we found out was Coach was a professional boxer, and he didn't lose too many bouts after he became professional in his weight. And if you pulled up the history, you'd find that the union purchased him, the Teamsters Union, and he even spent the night in the suite with Jimmy Hoffa, which is not something I would, I would not want to be wherever he's at, but, but no, Coach esteemed a lot for us to excel in our, whatever we were trying to do. And he sent a lot of recommendations to college scouts for athletes that came through his program. And one spake at his service and gave reference to what Coach did for him. Also, I just want to say also with Jerome, with what happened there, some people say, is the Guardian program really worth the money that the county and the constituents put into it? If one life is saved from what Jerome did, it's worth every penny. And the thing is, that's what our people that are promoting this and those individuals that are out there every day at our schools, patrolling the grounds and making them safe, they're out there actually protecting our kids, but they're also at times, people don't realize, putting their life at risk as well. So I appreciate what Jerome does and has done in all of our Guardian programs and our SROs and SRDs as well in the police department. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Mathias?
I think Mr. Gamble and I are going to tag team on this, because when I first got the word, and many know that I was an advocate of this after Sandy Hook, where 26 young lives were lost. And then after Parkland, quite honestly, I didn't want to be on the board if we couldn't protect our kids. And today I feel confident with men like Mr. Scott. And I said earlier, 21, that was the class that I went through. So I was trained and I wanted to test the rigor, and I could not have been more impressed with the staff and the direction from the sheriff, the commitment of these men and women that would put their life on the line, and we saw it in the case of Mr. Scott. We also saw the human side, as I said to him, because I visited the next day, and were you scared? And he was absolutely straightforward and went, yes, I was. And why wouldn't you be? And yet he went towards the danger. And those are the men and women in Lake County, 54 total guardians, that every day are not recognized, but are walking the campus to protect our kids. And this board member could not be prouder of not just Mr. Scott, but all of those. And it is not a one-time you get your badge and gun. It is continual training. And this Saturday, I will be on the range with all of those true guardians of our kids as school safety officers. Thank you.
Excellent. I don't have anything to add, and so I'd like to just go out on that if we could adjourn.
Thank you.